Let's get started. So fine. So yesterday we have discussed what are the cloud providers and మాట్లాడాము అలానే learning path గురించి మనం డిస్కస్ చేసాం, right? So today just I'll talk about one basics. So general గా why cloud? So why everyone is moving to cloud? సో మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద సినారియోస్ ఏంటి అంటే జనరల్ గా ప్రతి కంపెనీస్ ఏంటంటే ఆన్ ప్రమిసెస్ లో ఉన్న సర్వర్స్ మొత్తం క్లౌడ్ కు మూవ్ చేస్తున్నాయి. సో బిఫోర్ మూవింగ్ టు ద క్లౌడ్, రైట్? సో యాక్చువల్ గా ఆన్ ప్రమిసెస్ ఏంటి సో వై క్లౌడ్ లో ఏముంటుంది అనేది లెట్ us డిస్కస్ ఆన్ దట్ పార్ట్. ఓకే. సో ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మీరు చూసినట్టయితే మీకు జనరల్ గా ఎనీ ఎనీ అప్లికేషన్, ఇఫ్ ఐ సే ఫ్లిప్కార్ట్ ఆర్ ఇఫ్ ఐ సే amazon.com. So, or I'm talking about just taking an example of Amazon.com, or else I can even take ICC Bank application or any applications. Okay. సో ఇది వచ్చేసి ఒక 10 years బ్యాక్ ఎలా ఉండేది అంటే ఇది ఒక సెటప్ చేయాలనుకుంటే ఎలా ఉండేది అంటే జనరల్ గా మనకి ఒక పెద్ద ఫిజికల్ డేటా సెంటర్ కావచ్చు, దాంట్లో సర్వర్స్ అన్ని మనకి కావాల్సి వస్తుండే. ఓకే. సో నౌ వాట్ ఐఎమ్ ట్రైంగ్ టు సే ఇస్, సో జనరల్ గా ఇది వచ్చేసి ఏంటి amazon.com ద ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్. ఇది వచ్చేసి ఏంటంటే ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ సర్వర్ అంటాం. ఇది జస్ట్ నేను amazon.com అని టైప్ చేయగానే నాకు ఒక ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ పేజ్ వచ్చింది కదా, ఒక వెబ్ పేజ్. సో అది ఒక వెబ్ పేజ్. సో జనరల్ గా ఇవన్నీ ఎక్కడ డిప్లాయ్ అవుతాయి? ఇది ఒక డేటా సెంటర్ లో మనకు ఒక అప్లికేషన్స్ ఉంటాయి, అప్లికేషన్స్ లో డిప్లాయ్ ఉంటాయి. సో సంథింగ్ లైక్ దిస్. నౌ ఇది వచ్చేసి ఒక సర్వర్. ఈ సర్వర్ లో ఈ ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ పేజ్ అనేది ఇన్స్టాల్ అయ్యింది. ఐ కెన్ సే దిస్ ఈజ్ ఏ యూఐ, యూజర్ ఇంటర్ఫేస్, యూఐ. ఐ కెన్ ఫర్ మన నార్మల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ లో చెప్పాలి అంటే ఇది వచ్చేసి ఒక వెబ్ సర్వర్. ఓకే. దిస్ ఈజ్ a web server. Now, when I say amazon.com, I got this web page. This is a web server. Okay. Now, after that, సో ఇది నార్మల్ గా ప్రతి ఏదైనా బ్రౌజ్ చేసుకోవాలంటే యూ కెన్ బ్రౌజ్ ద వెబ్సైట్. బట్ ఇన్ కేస్ మీరు ఏదైనా షాపింగ్స్ అవన్నీ చేసుకోవాలంటే ఏంటి, కంపల్సరీగా మనం ఏంటి రిజిస్టర్ అవ్వాలి. సో వీటిలో రిజిస్టర్ అవ్వాలి. సో రిజిస్టర్ అవ్వడానికి ఏంటి అంటే వెనకాల ఇంకో బ్యాక్ అండ్ సర్వర్స్ ఉంటాయి. సో దోస్ ఆర్ కాల్డ్ అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్స్. సో ఈ అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్స్ లో మీరు రిజిస్టర్ అయ్యి ఉండాల్సి వస్తుంది. సో ఇదేంటి, ఇది ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ అయి ఉంటుంది. ఈ వెబ్ సర్వర్ వచ్చేసి నా యాప్ సర్వర్ ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ అయి ఉంటుంది. దిస్ ఈజ్ ఏ అప్లికేషన్ సర్వర్. ఇది విత్ ఏపీఐ నుండి ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ అయి ఉంటుంది, నా వెబ్ సర్వర్ కి ఇంటిగ్రేటెడ్ అయి ఉంటుంది. సో వన్స్ యూ రిజిస్టర్, మీరు రిజిస్టర్ అయ్యాక మీ డేటా అంతా మొత్తం స్టోర్ అవ్వాలి కదా. మీరు ఏ ఆర్డర్ తీసుకున్నా సరే, ఏదైనా సరే మీ డేటా మొత్తం స్టోర్ అవ్వాలి. ఆ స్టోర్ అయ్యే డేటా ఎక్కడ ఉంటుంది అంటే మనకి స్టోర్ అయ్యే డేటా మొత్తం ఏంటి డేటాబేస్ లో ఉంటుంది. I can say this is a database. All the data are stored under the databases. So this I can say DB server. You, yeah. So this is how the applications are hosted, and ఇక్కడ ఇంటర్నెట్ ద్వారా మీరు మీ ల్యాప్టాప్ నుండి amazon.com అని బ్రౌజ్ చేసినప్పుడు www.amazon.com అని బ్రౌజ్ చేసినప్పుడు నీ రిక్వెస్ట్ ఎలా వెళ్తుంది అంటే ఇంటర్నెట్ ద్వారా వెళ్ళేసి ఇలా ఫస్ట్ ఇట్ విల్ హిట్ టు ద వెబ్ సర్వర్ కి హిట్ అవుతుంది. ఇలా వెబ్ సర్వర్ హిట్ అవుతుంది. వెబ్ సర్వర్ లో ఇవన్నీ బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ సర్వర్స్. దిస్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఎస్ అ ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ సర్వర్. దీన్ని మనం ఏమంటాం, ఫ్రంట్ ఎండ్ సర్వర్. సో ఈ రెండు వచ్చేసి బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ సర్వర్స్. సో జనరల్ గా ఇలా ఉంటుంది. మన ఈ Amazon.com వెబ్సైట్స్ లో వచ్చేసి ఏంటి, మినిట్ కి ఎన్నో హిట్స్ వస్తుంటాయి. సో ఒక థౌజండ్స్ ఆఫ్ లాక్స్ ఆఫ్ హిట్స్ వస్తుంటాయి. అలా హిట్స్ వచ్చినప్పుడు ఓన్లీ వాళ్ళు వన్ సర్వర్ తో మెయింటైన్ చేయరు. దే విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్ ఏ మల్టిపుల్ సర్వర్స్. దే విల్ బి హ్యావింగ్ ఏ ఇలా మల్టిపుల్ సర్వర్స్ బ్యాక్ ఎండ్ లో ఉంటాయి. ఓకే. సో ఇవన్నీ సర్వర్స్ అన్ని ఎక్కడ ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తామంటే చెప్పాను కదా ఇంతకుముందు, ఒక డేటా సెంటర్ లో ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తాం. ఇవన్నీ డేటా సెంటర్ లో ఇన్స్టాల్ చేస్తాం. దట్ ఈస్ కాల్డ్ ఫిజికల్ డేటా సెంటర్. ఐ టాక్ అబౌట్ వాట్ ఈస్ దిస్ ఫిజికల్ డిసి అంటాం మనం జనరల్ గా, ఫిజికల్ డేటా సెంటర్స్. సో ఈ ఫిజికల్ డేటా సెంటర్స్ లో ఇవన్నీ సర్వర్స్, మల్టిపుల్ వెబ్ సర్వర్స్ కావచ్చు, మల్టిపుల్ యాప్ సర్వర్స్ కావచ్చు, మల్టిపుల్ డేటాబేస్ సర్వర్స్ కావచ్చు, ఇలాంటి ఫిజికల్ డేటా సెంటర్స్ లో స్టోర్ అయి ఉంటాయి. సో వెన్ ఐ టాక్ అబౌట్ ఆన్ ప్రెమిసెస్, రైట్, ఇది క్లౌడ్ రాకముందు ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ ఆన్ ప్రెమిసెస్. ఆన్ ప్రెమ్ సర్వీస్. సో ఈ ఆన్ ప్రెమ్ సర్వర్స్ లో ఇలాంటి నేను ఒక వెబ్సైట్ హోస్ట్ చేయాలనుకున్నా, ఇలాంటి ఒక కంపెనీ కొత్తది నేను క్రియేట్ చేయాలనుకుంటే ఏంటి, ఇలా నాకు సర్వర్స్ కావాలి, ఇవాళ ఇలాంటి సర్వర్స్ కావాలి, దానికి సంబంధించిన నెట్వర్క్ స్విచెస్ కావాలి, నెట్వర్క్ స్విచెస్ నెట్వర్క్ స్విచెస్ సో ఇలానే నెట్వర్క్ స్విచెస్ తో పాటు స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్స్ కావాలి, అంటే హార్డ్ డిస్క్ స్టోరేజ్ అకౌంట్స్, కావాలి. ఇలా మొత్తం డేటా అంతా ఇలా స్టోర్ అవుతూ ఉంటుంది. సో ఇది మెయింటైన్ చేయడానికి ఇదంతా ఏంటి, మన ఓన్ ప్రోడక్ట్. ఆల్ సర్వర్స్ ఆర్ రిలేటెడ్ టు అది మన ఓన్ పర్చేస్ చేసిన ప్రోడక్ట్స్ ఇవన్నీ. ఓకే. సో ఇదంతా ఒక ఫిజికల్ డేటా సెంటర్ ని మెయింటైన్ చేయాలి అనుకోండి. ఒక ఫిజికల్ డేటా సెంటర్ మెయింటైన్ చేయాలంటే ఆబ్వియస్లీ యూ షుడ్ బి హ్యావింగ్ సమ్ డేటా సెంటర్ ఇంజనీర్స్ కావాలి. 24 hours మెయింటైన్ చేయాలి కాబట్టి జస్ట్ పుట్టింగ్ అరౌండ్ ఒక 5 members. సో అలానే ఇదే అప్లికేషన్ మెయింటైన్ చేయాలంటే మనకు ఒక నెట్వర్క్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్ కావాలి. నెట్వర్క్ అడ్మిన్స్ అరౌండ్ 3 members. ఐఎమ్ జస్ట్ కీపింగ్. అలానే ఒక సిస్టమ్ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్స్ ఒక 5 members.
Hi,
సో
sir.
అలానే యా.
Sorry to interrupt you, sir. Sir, I can't understand Telugu, sir.
ఓ
I'm
ఇస్
from
ఇట్? ఓకే,
Karnataka.
ఓకే, ఓకే, ఓకే. ఐల్ టాక్ ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్. యా.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you.
సో ఫైన్. So if you want to use this data center, right? Okay, if you want to have a application on the data centers, at least you should be having these many engineers to maintain these data centers. Okay. For example, I need to have a database admins around 3 members. So VMware admins around 3 members. Okay. So this much big team you would be requiring to maintain your application. I mean, to maintain this application on one of the data centers. So these many huge numbers you need to have it. And at the same time, the data centers, everything, all the servers, whatever the servers you are deploying, right? All the servers are you need to maintain on your own. I mean, if something goes wrong with these servers, or if something goes wrong with the database servers or hardware related, everything you need to maintain. I mean, these engineers need to maintain on these servers. So this cost a huge cost effective. Okay, that is not as simple as that is a huge cost. Okay, now the same scenario if I move to cloud. Okay, if a same scenario if I move to cloud, right? So let us see what will happen exactly. Okay, now I'll remove this. So this is Azure Cloud. Any cloud. Okay, just talking about a cloud. It might be AWS, it might be Azure, it might be GCP. Okay, so any cloud vendor. So here, what I said. So here you need to have your own servers. The product is product owned by you. But where it comes to cloud vendor, right? So you can just configure your switches. This product is not owned by you. This is already installed and maintained by cloud vendors. Network switches, you can even configure storage devices, storage devices. So in the same way, you can install multiple servers. You can install multiple servers. I can say this is a web server, app server, and you can say this is a DB service. Now, I just want to move the same setup to the cloud. Now, to maintain this, so who and all required? Say as simple as that. So I say I need one solution architect. One number is enough. Cloud or DevOps engineer, around four. Just I'm giving an example. And as a project manager, one guy is enough. So if you see, there would be a lot of cost cutting compared to this engineers who are maintaining in on premises, whereas engineers who are maintaining in the cloud. So you can ask me, what about these servers? Who will maintain? Yes, these servers are not maintained by us. I mean, here, if anything goes wrong on the storage account or network switches or anything on the servers, right? Everything we have to maintain it. I mean, who, as an engineer, you are responsible to maintain these servers. So system admin can maintain the storage account, network switches, everything. He will be coordinating with the multiple teams to make sure the issue is resolved. If something goes wrong with the hardware itself, so the system admin has to raise a ticket to the hardware vendor. It might be Dell, HP, or IBM. So he has to raise a ticket to the one of the vendor. That vendor will go to the data center and he will go to the data center and he'll repair it and he'll come back. But whereas here, so you don't need to take any responsibility of the hardware itself. So everything is taken care by your cloud vendor itself. Okay. So if something goes wrong with the hardware, so you don't even know. You will not even have an impact on the upon impact on your application itself. Okay. So these people will make sure that it will have a zero downtime. I cannot say zero downtime. It might be 1.1% or 1% downtime in a year. So they'll make sure it will be around 99.12 lines uptime. Okay, 12 lines uptime. I mean, over the year, you might be having only 3 4 hours downtime. That's it. Everything will taken care by the cloud vendor. Here, you don't need to procure the hardware itself, but whereas here you need to procure everything because it's your product. You're going to procure everything. Now, in case, let us compare this now. So now you have procured on 2020, you have procured this hardware with some specification. Now, after 3 4 years, this hardware will become old. Okay, this will be outdated. Now, if you want to upgrade again hardware, again you need to purchase high-end configuration servers, and you need to invest a lot of money into that. Okay, but whereas here, right, every time it is automatically upgraded. So if you want to move to 16 GB to 64 GB, within within a second you can upgrade your hardware. Again, if you want to downgrade 64 to 16 GB, yes, within second you can downgrade it. You can upgrade, you can downgrade, you can auto scale, you can scale in, you can scale out. So these are all options available in the cloud. So whereas in data center, that is not possible at all. On-premises data center, you don't have that option to auto upgrade something. If you want to upgrade anything, right, you need to shut down the server. Hardware vendor will come here. You will shut down the server. You will unpack the hardware and you will again insert. You'll upgrade the hardware and it start the server. Okay. So everything every time you need to purchase on your own. But whereas here, no, not required. You just whatever the services you are using, right? Okay, what are the services you are using? You'll be getting bill at the month end, somewhere around I'm just giving an example, 1 to 6 lakhs per month, something based upon your resources, whatever resources you are trying to purchase it. Okay. You need to pay rent accordingly, billing. Minute billing, they'll be. So if you are using the server per 1 hour, you need to pay rent for 1 hour. If you are using server per 6 hours, you need to pay rent for 6 hours. So this is how the billing will be happen. So at the end of the month, they'll give you an invoice. You need to pay rent online, and again you need to use the servers. And one more advantage of cloud is, right. Okay, now your physical data center is in India, for example. Okay. Now in Amazon.com, you're you have lot of customers from the US. Okay, now what you have to do? Now you need to set up these servers on US data centers as well. That is not that much easy to set up the data centers over the or any other region. It will take months together to set up. But whereas in cloud, within hours, you can move your servers in any part of the world. You have lot of data centers across all the regions, I mean across all the world. So you can move your server different regions as well. That option is always available in cloud. Okay. So that is where everyone is moving to cloud. Okay. Now in the market as well, right? 80% of the jobs are on cloud, I can say. So even, sir, what about a developer? What about full stack developer? What about ITL process? Whatever monitoring people? Yes. So, 1 second. One is, yeah. So you can ask me, what about DB admins? What about developers? What about full stack developers? Yes. Those people also should know cloud, because everything is moving to cloud, like SQL admin. Okay, I'm a Oracle admin, something like that. So if I deploy my servers on the cloud, then definitely I should be knowing basics of cloud. At least I should be knowing some basics of cloud. So each category of any stream, right? Everyone should know what is cloud, how the cloud works. At least they should be able to understand the cloud. So without cloud, there are no jobs in future. Okay. So only the thing is, most of the people will move as everyone's servers are moving to the cloud. Yes. So we are getting more opportunities on the cloud. So this is one of the important aspect. So where everyone is moving to cloud. Okay. So till here, any questions? Now major leaders in market. So as I said, AWS, Azure, GCP, Oracle Cloud. I can say Oracle Cloud is down. Alibaba Cloud, IBM Cloud. So these are the clouds. These are the major leaders in the cloud market. So I can say AWS and Azure are leading in the market now. Okay. Apart from this, most of the clients are using AWS and Azure. Okay. So why Azure? I can say this is 50%, around this is around 33%, and remaining all this cloud, these other cloud providers are taking care, taking have a market share. Now we, as I said yesterday, right? So Azure is booming in the market. Most of the people are moving to the Azure than AWS. Why? In the market, right? Most of the applications are already built on Microsoft products. Now, if I want to move to the cloud, they'll definitely choose Microsoft product rather than Amazon product, because we'll be having a less dependency. So to make sure the less dependency and getting huge discounts and use nice securities, my application should be stable. That is more important. So most of the people are moving to Azure. So I can say why AWS is 50%. Yes. So cloud is introduced by AWS itself. So there was no cloud term itself before AWS. Okay, AWS itself, they have introduced cloud in the market. So once they have introduced cloud in the market, right, most of the companies who are want to move to the cloud, they have moved to the AWS. So that is the main reason. So everyone was moved to the cloud. Okay. And so, yes. So let us discuss again this about this. Now, you want to set up one application, you want to set up one e-commerce site or any application, anything, right? You have two options, right? The first, the first major option is option option one is I'll write on Windows board. Option one is set up own IT infrastructure. IT infrastructure. I mean, you need to set up on your own. You need to procure your hardware. You need to procure your storage devices, network devices, everything. You need to procure on your own and build data center. Like you need to have your own power, AC, AC cooling, everything. You need to have it on your own. Okay. Now again, buy servers, networks, storage, etc. And you need to manage the data center on your own. So this would be the first option. When we choose the first option, right? Everything you are responsible on that one. Everything you are responsible. What I'm trying to say is, so what is data center? First, we'll look into this data center buildings. So these are the data center buildings. I can say, let me talk about that space. Yeah. Okay. So this is example. I can say this is some data center building. Okay. So inside data center buildings, what you will have? You will have these kind of racks. So these are the racks. So I can say it is a kind of almaras. Okay. On the almaras, you are going to install your hardware here. I mean servers, you are going to mount servers here. And he is the data center engineer. He will be having an access to enter into that building because everyone in the companies, all the servers will be deployed in these kind of the data centers. Okay. And this data center will be around minus degrees Celsius. Okay, because all the servers are generated will be generating heat, right? To maintain the temperature, they'll be using high-end cooling systems and power systems, everything, and everything are managed by on our own. Everything are managed by on our own. So if something happened to this network, something happens to this network, you need to coordinate with the data center engineer and you need to ask them to go and check why my server is not available, why I'm unable to reach my server, why my application is down. Everything you need to coordinate with this guy. Okay. So that is your responsibility to make sure that issue is resolved. Until unless the issue is resolved, you need to explain, you need to talk to him, you need to guide him what could be the issue. Everything you are responsible for this. So here, what is the problem here? So here, what is the problem? Everything you are managing on your own. That is the biggest problem here. Okay. Now, when it comes to option two, right? You have another option, as I said, option two, go with the cloud vendor. Okay, go with the cloud vendor. So, as I said, cloud vendor. It can be Azure, AWS, GCP, etc. Okay. So these are the cloud vendors. Now, what are the cloud vendors are offering? So cloud vendors are offering IaaS model, okay, PaaS model, and SaaS model. So these three models are offering by cloud vendors. So any cloud. So I can say IaaS, PaaS, and SaaS. So let us discuss about this now. IaaS is nothing but infrastructure as a service. PaaS, platform as a service. SaaS, software as a service. Cloud vendor is providing these models. Okay. Now, what is exactly infrastructure as a service? By the name itself, they are saying that use my infrastructure and pay rent. As simple as that. Now, in this diagram, what I said, right? We are using their switches, we are using their storage devices, we are using their servers, and whatever we are using, right? We will pay rent for the at month that we are paying rent for them. Okay, as simple as that. You are using their infrastructure and paying rent for them. So that is called a infrastructure as a service. So here, if I talk about web server, for example, I'm talking about a web server. To configure a web server in IaaS model, I can say they are providing OS images, they will be providing network, they are providing firewalls, they will be providing load balancers. You can use these components and create your own servers. So for example, to create a web server, what I need exactly? I need to create a virtual machine first. Okay, machine, I need to have one machine. So I either it may be Windows, Linux, or any machine. One machine I need. On the top of the machine, configure web server. I will enable IaaS. So once I enable IaaS, it will become a web server, and the developer is developing the code. I mean, like this application and this application, developer has to build the code, right, to develop the code. If they develop the code on Java, then I need to install a Java on this software, Java software install and configure Java. So everything you need to configure on your own. Configure Java and install dependencies on this server. So once everything is done, deploy your code and website will go live. So this is how you are going to prepare in IaaS. So you just pick the OS image and install everything on your own on the top of that. Okay. So where exactly this virtual machine will be available, where it deploys, it will be deployed on one of the physical hardware and virtualization. So you'll have some network, you'll have some storage. So this is responsibility of the cloud vendor. So you no need to worry about that. This where this virtual machine is sitting. Okay, this virtual machine sitting here on this. Okay. So if you are unable to access this machine, yes, you need to raise a ticket to the cloud vendor saying that yes, I am unable to access my machine. But on the top of the machine, whatever you are installing, right, that is your responsibility. That is not responsibility of the cloud vendor. That is responsibility of the system admin or cloud admin. So as I said, yeah, I'll tell you something like this. Okay, generally any application, right? You'll have a one hardware. Hardware might be IBM, Dell, or HP. I'm just taking an example of IBM, HP, and Dell. On the top of the hardware. So what is this software? Your laptop is a hardware. Okay. Your laptop is the hardware. So on the top of the laptop, what you have installed? Some might be installed Mac operating system, some might be installed Windows 11 operating system, some might be installed Windows 10 operating system, right? So in your laptop, right, there can be only one operating system, but in real time, on the top of the hardware, there will be multiple operating systems. So how it possible? It is possible via my virtualization software. They'll be installing virtualization software on the top of the hardware. Virtualization software. So the famous virtualization software is VMware. I think most of the people know. So VMware is the famous virtualization software. And even if you install this VMware on your laptop, right, you can install multiple operating systems like Windows 10 also, you can install Linux also, you install Mac also, you can install only in one laptop. Whereas now you have only one operating system. So in the companies, you'll be having virtualization on top of that. Now on top of this virtualization, you'll have a multiple virtual machines. You'll have a multiple virtual machines. So I say this is virtual machine one, virtual machine, nothing but one one machine, that's it. One Windows machine or Linux machine or something. Yeah. So as I said just now, I told you, right? Data center. This is how the data center will be. Here network switch. Network switches. Here you have a storage. Storage is nothing but hard disk. Okay. Storage. Now on top of this application, top of this machine, you have installed Amazon. I mean, you have hosted Amazon website. So now in on-premises, right? So yes, just now I told you in on-premises. Okay, let me use this. So if this server is having problem in on-premises, any problem, right? Whatever the problem, everything you need to take care. The networking, storage, servers, virtualization, everything you need to manage on your own. So when it comes to cloud vendor, cloud is giving three options. The first option is infrastructure as a service. In the infrastructure as a service, till here, the data center, everything will be taken care by the cloud vendor. You no need to worry about that. You're responsible for only the virtual machine which you have created, and the top of the virtual machine, what you install it, right? That is your responsibility. This machine, where it is sitting and which data center is sitting, whether that machine is having cooling system or not, whether that machine is having power or not, you no need to worry about that. Okay. Do I need to maintain the data center engineer? No. Whether the machine will have a networking, you know. So you no need to worry about anything. Everything will take care by cloud vendor. That is called IaaS. So what are the virtual machine you install, right? You need to pay rent for that. As simple as that. Okay. You need to pay rent for this virtual machine. So this is how the infrastructure as a service is provided by the cloud. So generally, I say this is an example as raw flat for a rent. So what is this exactly? If I want a rent, if I want a flat for a rent, right? So I'll go to the builder or owner. I'll see. So they'll provide a room. Okay, they'll provide one portion with all the walls with lift everything. But once I took this rent, right, what are the furnitures are there, or any groceries, anything, right? That is my responsibility. What I am required, I'll procure it. Like once I get a rent for that room, once I enter into that room, if I want a table, I'll purchase the table. If I want a TV, I'll purchase a TV. If I want a table, sofas, anything, I'll get on my own. The same way, IaaS also the same way. They are giving OS images. By using OS images, you create a virtual machine. On top of that virtual machine, right? If you want to install web server, you install a web server. If you want to install SQL server, install SQL server. If you want to install any Java server, install Java server. If you want to install file server, you install it on your own. That is your headache. Whatever you want, you can install it. The main thing is whatever the components you pick it, right? You need to pay rent for that component. So that is the one of the product is giving by Azure. The second is platform as a service. So here, if I take about web server, cloud vendor responsibility. So you no need to worry about anything. So if you want a web server, instead of IaaS, you can directly pick PaaS. They are giving a platform directly. Everything they'll be pre-installed ready. Software will be ready. Okay. So for example, web server we call as a app service in PaaS service. So it already installed by Java, versions, .NET all versions, Python all versions, Ruby all versions, ASP.NET all versions. Everything is pre-installed and ready. If your code is developed on Python, Ruby, then just select Ruby and deploy your code. Your website will go live. So here what you're doing, you are installing Java software, you are installing dependency, everything you are installing on your own to make sure it will convert as a web server. But whereas here, Azure itself is giving, you no need to worry about that. Everything is pre-installed and readily available. They are giving it. You just use it. That's it. So this is one of the product they are giving. Okay. So what I say, this platform as a service, I say that it is a studio room in a resort or something, I can say. So what is a studio room? So earlier here raw flat, it is just a flat. Whatever you want, you are getting on your like sofa, furnitures, TVs, everything you are getting on your own here. But whereas in studio room, it is well furnished room. Once you take a rent of a studio room, right? Once you enter into that room, everything will be already available, like sofas, TV sets, cots, everything are readily available. You just go to that room and use it. The same way, platform as a service as the same way. You just pick the product and use it. You no need to configure on your own. But whereas IaaS, everything you need to configure it. So now you can ask me, most of the work where you'll having? Yes, most of the work you'll be having on IaaS. I can say 70% of the work we'll be having in IaaS and PaaS you'll be having around 30% or 40%, etc. Okay. So, sir, this is the best, right? Why we are moving to this? Yes, because it's true in platform as a service, right? You don't have any customization option. No customization option available in PaaS service. Whereas here you have a customization option. So what exactly customization option? Okay, now I created a web server. Now if I want to use firewall for security, I can pick this, I can configure the firewall. If I want a load balancer, I can pick this, I can configure a load balancer. If I want any other security, I can pick this, I can configure here in the IaaS model. But whereas in PaaS, right, that option is not available. So there will be some models like basic model, standard model, premium model, deluxe model, something like that. For example, in the basic model, I have 2 GB RAM with one CPU. Okay, I'll say 4 GB RAM with one CPU. Standard IaaS 8 GB RAM with one CPU and load balancer 16 GB RAM with two CPU, load balancer with firewall 64 GB RAM, 4 4 CPU. Just I'm giving an example. firewall, and backup. So each model you have different features involved. So now in my case, my web server is very much working on 4 GB RAM with 4 GB RAM and CPU. I'm paying very low cost. That is fine. Now I want to add some backup to this in the PaaS model. Only backup I need, and I want to add into the basic model. That is not possible in PaaS. So if you want to have a backup, then definitely you need to upload basic model to deluxe model. Obviously, it will upgrade to 64 GB to 4 CP RAM, and you will have additional features like load balancer, firewalls, and backup. And now you are ending up with paying huge rent, huge rent. Even though you don't require load balancers and firewalls with additional GB of RAM, yes, for the backup, definitely you need to upgrade it. They won't give separately. That is the only issue with the PaaS service. Other than this configuration, everything will take care by cloud vendor, and you don't need to have that administrative task itself. So these are the different models are providing by the cloud vendor. Okay. Now, if I show you the diagram, cloud on-premises, everything you are going to manage, infrastructure till virtualization, cloud will manage. On the top of this, everything you are going to install on your own. So whereas platform as a service till runtime. So what is runtime? Till software installation, software configuration, software dependence, everything will take care by the cloud vendor. On the top of that data, if you have any code, you are going to deploy that. So otherwise, everything is deployed by or configured by cloud. Now, the last is software as a service. You no need to do everything is maintained and configured by cloud vendor itself. So you don't have anything to do it. You just use it, and like software as a service, I can say ready to use product. So mainly the SaaS is nothing but examples of SaaS is like Gmail, Outlook, Google Drive. So these are the SaaS products. So if you want to have any Gmail account, right? Are you doing anything? I mean, are you setting your own infrastructure and configuring on one? No, right. Just you are trying your browsing gmail.com and creating your mailbox, and you're just leaving it, and you're not even managing that email. Everything is who is managing everything like backup. The server will not go down at all. You will have a zero downtime at any point of time. If you access your Gmail account, it will access. So this maintenance, everything done by cloud vendor. So this SaaS product is from so many years now. It has been commercialized. Now these peoples are giving company emails as well, like Krishna at techcom.com. So by this business emails also, Google and Microsoft are giving, like Krishna.com, like Krishna at inp.com. So these are the business emails, business domain emails. Now these people are giving like Google and O365. O365 is nothing but Microsoft product. So this is the SaaS product. So I can say it is a ready to use product. Just log in and use it. So these are the three offers are given by cloud: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So whichever the requirement is there, so you're going to use that model and deploy your infrastructure. Now you can ask me, so who will decide? Who will decide which one I need to pick it? Who will decide which one I need to pick it? Yes. Who will decide in the sense? This guy. The solution architect is there, right? The solution architect will decide which is the feasible for the client. He will have a once the client comes with the requirement, he will analyze the requirement, he will study the requirement, he will talk to the client, he will understand the requirement, and he will design the solution. So which model he has to go, which model is feasible for his application, like if you go to IaaS, feasible or PaaS or SaaS. So based on that, the solution architect guy will be deciding which one we need to go it. So who will become a solution architect? At least 10 to 15 years who have an experience on cloud, and each service who knows better, they will become a solution architect. Okay. No one will become 1 to 2 years. Okay. So the designing part, everything, you no need to worry about that. This will be taken care by the solution architect guy. So this is the thing. And what are the advantages of the cloud? Right. Once we have used it, so as I said, these are the models we generally use it. Why everyone is moving to cloud? Advantages of cloud. As I said, copper cost savings, flexibility. I can say it have scalability, high scalability, and 24 bar. 1 second, 24/7 high availability. 24/7, your data center will be managed by the cloud vendor itself. So it will have almost zero downtime. I can say it is having a almost zero downtime. And you will be having unlimited storage. And the performance would be very fast, and backup, and I can say backup and restoration would be fine. And you can have an integration of automation, and will you have a high security as well. So these are the advantages of the cloud. So more everyone is moving. That is the reason everyone is moving to the cloud. Whereas here, everything you need to set up on your own. Okay, even if something happened to the servers, or if the servers are outdated, so you need to procure it, you need to manage. That is very hectic job. So now no one is moving to on-premises data centers now. Everyone moving to cloud. So fine. Till now, any questions? Yeah. So Azure. So first, Azure is introduced on 2008. Okay, announced as a they have announced as a project Red Dog. They have announced as a project Red Dog, and they have started developing Azure. Azure is a Microsoft product. So they have announced that project as a Red Dog in 2008. Then they are slowly developed on 2014. They have introduced as a Windows Azure by using a classic editor. Then later in 2015, they have introduced name as a Microsoft Azure. From there, the name has been changed, and there are a lot of services involved in the Microsoft Azure. And it has now, from last 3-4 years, it is booming like anything now in the market. I can definitely tell that after 2-3 years, it will cross AWS as well. So this is how the Microsoft Azure started. Okay. So find any questions?
Sir, this is Uday. Yeah. So one question I have. So in the course, we are mainly focusing on the AWS services, right?
No, no, not AWS, man. We are from Azure.
Okay.
Okay. So this is Azure. So if you are looking for the AWS, I'll we'll have just discussion over the basic thing only. So if you are looking for the AWS, I can talk separately. Okay.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So in the course, as I said, we'll be covering Azure. Here we'll be covering Azure Cloud with Terraform scripting language plus Azure DevOps. In the Azure DevOps, we'll be talking about GitHub, Azure Repo, Azure Boards, Azure Test, Azure Pipelines, Test Plans, Artifacts, so then Docker and Kubernetes. So this is what we are going to learn in the whole curriculum. Okay. So mostly you will be having classes from Monday to Friday. As I said yesterday, you'll be having 5 days in a week. Daily one hour session. Daily 1 hour session. And Saturday or Sunday you will have doubt doubt clearing sessions. So if someone is not coming offline, they can clear their doubts on Saturday or Sunday. I'll be taking one on one with that. So and every alternative week we'll have a exam like I can say online or offline. I'll be providing exam papers if you come offline, and I'll be providing online exams as well. So later on, we'll having every same thing, every alternative we'll have a mock interviews on the topics which we have covered. I'll be taking over like a mock interviews. Okay. So later on, we'll be having resume preparation and interview question and answers session. So I have a huge dump because every day we'll be having we have a interviews going on for our students directly for MNC companies. So we have a dump over there. So I'll be discussing about all questions. At least it will take easily 2 to 3 hours this session. So we'll be discussing about this part. So before that, yes, I'll be showing you some live projects. I'll be discussing about the live projects as well. So this would be the curriculum. Okay. So I'll be sharing you curriculum. So I think most of the people hang or not. I'm not sure. So let me share the curriculum as well. Okay. So the course, okay, let me talk about the course fee as well. The course fee would be 20K. Okay. If you pay partially, like in two installments, like I can say third class, first installment, again 30th class, I can say one after 1 month, 1 month, in 1 month, second install. So if you are paying at a time, 18K. Okay. So this would be the scenario. Yeah, any questions on the course curriculum or anything? So please let me know. Or even you can call offline on that number. Okay. I think most of the people are in that number. So fine, any questions? So fine, if you don't have any questions, let us end the call and we'll connect on Monday. We'll ping you at what time we are going to connect. Mostly on 11 a.m. we'll be connecting. But in case any time changes, I'll let you know. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.